Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Louise Perera and today we are going to be reviewing some new makeup brushes. I have been using the same makeup brushes for a very long time now, so I'm excited to test out some new ones, and these are from LINT Cosmetics and this is their very first launch, and they came out with a 15-piece brush set. Now they very kindly sent me the full collection, but that is not going to affect my opinions because I know what I like in my brushes. Let's just hope that they can do the job. So we have a lot of brushes here to test out. I'm going to try and use as many as possible. So let's get into this. Now I've just grabbed one of the brushes, and the first thing I wanted to note is that it did come with this net over it, which I do appreciate because that does help keep the brush in its shape. It's got some weight to it, so I like that. And it is super soft and they are all synthetic, so points all around. I think it's time we get into some makeup, so I'm going to prime my face with my Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I don't need a brush for this, so I'm just gonna go straight in. I'm upset because I can't go and buy more of my favorite primers because I am not going to drive to a shopping center just for primer in the middle of a pandemic, and I cannot order them online because nowhere delivers to Jib. So I am counting the days that I still have my primer left. Next, I'm going to use my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer to fill in my pores, and look at the sorry state of this. I am going to use every last bit of it. And again, I don't need a brush for this. I'm just going in with my finger. What's the point of using a brush for a step I'm never going to use a brush for again? Next, I need to sort out my brows, so I'm gonna go in with the Pink Honey Texture Hold, and LINT didn't actually come out with a spoolie, so I'm just going to use the one that came with the Pink Honey pot. Honestly, I think everyone needs a spoolie, but I am sure we all have a spoolie already, so it's not the end of the world. So we are just going to brush our hairs up quickly so that we can get into this review. I need to color correct now, so I'm going to go in with the Jeffree Star Concealer in the shade Peach, and I'm going to be using the LINT Cosmetics L11, and they have this down as a spot concealer brush, so let's see if it can do the job. The last makeup challenge I didn't anger my face too much, and I have also changed up my skin routine and it seems to be helping. Usually I just use any little blending brush to blend out my color corrector, and this essentially is a little fluffy blending brush. Whilst I blend this out, the full brush set retails for £99, which essentially means we are paying £6.60 per brush, which I think is a very good price. That seems to have done a very good job of blending all of that out. Next, we need to do foundation. For foundation, I'm going to go in with my Nars Sheer Glow in the shade Sante. I'm going to do half my face with my sponge like I usually do, and the other half with the LINT Cosmetics foundation brush, and see if there's any difference. Let's do the sponge first, because I know what this is going to look like. Now I'm going to go in with the LINT Cosmetics L2 and try on this side. So it's spreading out very nice. Now I'm just gonna try and build up the coverage. I am really impressed not to be seeing any streaks left behind. That's the main reason why I hate brushes. I really like how this side has turned out. I am honestly very impressed with this brush, and if you prefer using a brush, I would definitely recommend this, as it has not left any streaks on my face whatsoever. Next, I need to go in with some concealer, so I'm going to use my Jouer Essential High Coverage Liquid Concealer, and this is in the shade Cream Cafe. Again, half of my face I'll be doing with the sponge, and the other half I will be doing with the LINT Cosmetics L4 brush, and this is their Under Eye Concealer brush. This side is all blended out. Now I'm going to go in with the L4 brush and blend all of this out. We have a little bit of shedding for this one. It seems to be doing the job, so I'm not mad at it for now. I've never actually used a brush for my concealer before, and I'm pleasantly surprised. It was not as hard as I thought it was gonna be. I actually think I prefer the brush side for this, which I am shocked. I might have to use this to blend out my concealer more often. I need to contour a little bit, so I'm going to go into my Rcma palette and then use a few LINT Cosmetics brushes to blend it all out. And I'm just using one of my older brushes to apply this. I don't need to test out if LINT Cosmetics brushes can make lines on my face. Any brush should be able to do this. Blending it out is another story. Now, usually I would go in with a stippling brush to blend all of this out, but LINT Cosmetics doesn't have one of those, so we are going to use the concealer brush again. Let's see the cheeks. I don't know what they did to this concealer brush. It's a good blending brush. This is working better than I thought it would. For my nose, I'm just gonna go in with the L11 again, which is what we used to color correct. Really surprised with how quickly it's just creating a really seamless blend. Now I need to go in with a little bit of liquid blush, and I'm gonna use the Made by Mitchell Blush in the shade Peach Sugar. I'm just gonna put a little bit where I usually would. And again, I'm going to use the LINT Cosmetics L4 brush to blend this out, as it's done such a good job with everything else. That is so good. Oh my lord. It's blended it out so well and so quickly. And again, there has been no more shedding. That was extremely quick and very easy. I can tell you now, I already love this brush. I need to set my face now, so I'm going to go in with my Lauramercier Translucent Setting Powder, and I'm going to use the L3 LINT Cosmetics brush, which is the large powder brush. And let's just see how it sets my face. I'm not very picky when it comes to powder brushes. It just has to be big and soft. This one is ticking all the boxes. I don't know why my neighbors are being so noisy. It feels like they are just dragging furniture all over their house, so I'm sorry. I don't know why they decide to do this every time I film. They just do. Just to compare, this is what I usually use for my powder, and this is the LINT Cosmetics brush. Now, I love this brush, but sadly, she has seen better days. She has been with me for many years, and she is coming apart slowly but surely. So I don't use her anymore. I normally have to resort to using my Morphe brush, and this just feels so horrible on your skin. It's just prickly and I hate it, and the only reason I use it is because it doesn't make a noise like my favorite one does. So I am very happy to have this brush now, because it has now replaced both of them. The LINT Cosmetics brush is a little bit smaller, but it has done the job and is super soft. So I am very happy to have this in my collection. Now I need to fill in my brows, so I'm going to go in with my Benefit Ka-Brow, and this is in the shade 5. And I'm going to use the L13 brush from LINT Cosmetics, which is just a angled brush. This is the brush I normally use. The LINT Cosmetics brush is a little bit bigger and softer, so I'm going to see if it will get the job done. Because it's so soft, it's not as firm as I would like for an angled brush. It's not picking up as much pigment as I would like. So to compare, I'm going to do my other eyebrow as I usually would. I just think it's a little bit easier with this brush, and I feel like it gets the job done quicker. Just going back in over this one to clean it up. They do list this as an angled eyeliner brush, so maybe it does a better job at doing that. Now I'm gonna go in with the LINT Cosmetics L14 brush, and I'm going to carve out my brows. And I'm just using a little bit of P. Louise base for this, and I will prime my lids at the same time. The brush is super flat, so it's made it extremely easy to carve out my brows. I don't think I have had as clean of an eyebrow as I do today. This brush is insane when it comes to carving out eyebrows. So it's time to get into some eyeshadow, and I saw this look on Instagram. I'll pop a picture of it up now, and I want to recreate that, but it's Valentine's or close to Valentine's. I don't know when this is gonna go up. So we are going to make it a little bit more Valentine's-y. I'm going to be using my NikkieTutorials X Beautybaycom palette, and I'm probably going to stick to the more pinky berry tones. I'm going to be dipping into Blend and Snap first, and I'm using a LINT Cosmetics L10 brush, which is just a nice fluffy brush. I'm just going to place this right along here. It's picked up a good amount of eyeshadow, and I'm just going to start blending this out. I am going to go over the edges with the shade Zuma on the same brush. Really buff it out. I'm going to dip in to Slasher now on the same brush and concentrate that just a little bit lower. So this is what's going to make up the very bottom of that front cut crease before we invert it on the other side of our eye. I think that's as blended as we are going to get it. Now I'm going to carve out the first part of this eye with the L14. And again, I am very impressed with how precise this brush is. And I'm just going to set that cut crease with Basic Truth. For the next part of the eye, I'm going to use this flat brush, which is the L15, and I'm going to go back in with Slasher, and I'm going to map out the second part of this eye. Then back in with the fluffy brush, we are going to blend out Slasher with Blend and Snap. I am now using the L12, and this is a little bit smaller of a blending brush. I'll be able to work in this tiny area a bit better. Now that that's all blended out, I'm going to go into the shade Ivy and use that for an inner corner highlight. Now with the L12 brush, I'm dipping into Slasher, and I'm going to run this along my lower lash line. I'm going to buff this out with a little bit of Blend and Snap. That is one eye done. I am going to do the other one off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, that is both eyes completely done. I added some lashes, and overall I really like several of the brushes I used. They blended everything out quite well, and I am happy with the end result. Now I want to go in with some bronzer, so I'm going to use my Fenty Stalk'r bronzer in the shade Private Island. And I am going to be using the LINT Cosmetics L1 brush, which is the contour and highlighter brush. Let's give myself a bit of bronzer. Even though this isn't the brush I'm used to, it is doing a good job. Now I need to shape my nose a little bit more, so I'm going to go in with the LINT Cosmetics L8 brush. This is a little bit more of an angled brush, which is what I'm used to. So let's see how this works. It's doing the job. Now with the L1, I'm going to dip into the shade Zuma from NikkieTutorials palette and use that as some blush. And this brush has done a nice job of blending out that blush. We need some highlighter now, so I'm going to go in with my Jaclyn highlighter palette. And again, I'm going to use the L1 to highlight. Oh, they really have come up with some nice face brushes. And now with the tiny L15, I'm going to highlight my nose and a few tinier areas. The last thing we have to do is go in with some lips, and I'm gonna go in with a Fenty liquid lip in the shade Uncuffed. You just need a plain lip, not to distract from our eyes. And finally, some setting spray. Okay guys, this is a finished look. I really like how it turned out, and I think I have found several new brushes that will become a staple part of my routine. I really think that the base brushes, so the powder brush, foundation, concealer brushes, have really killed it today. And quite a few of the eye brushes have impressed me as well, including some of the blending brushes, and especially the one we use to carve out our brows and this cut crease. Now, the only brushes that I am not particularly fond of are the angled brushes. They feel a bit too soft for what I want them to do. Overall, I think LINT Cosmetics have come out with a very nice brush set that gets the job done, and I'm excited to see what the brand comes out with next. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, follow me on my other social medias. I post a lot more on them than I do over here. That's it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.